Hey guys, how's it going? It's Dilmer again and welcome back to my channel. So on the previous video, I walked you through creating a cannon. We've been actually looking at some of the C# features by working on my new game. So in this video, I actually realized I had some mistakes that I actually make on the cannon. So I'm gonna go back into Maya and make some modifications. I also realized I needed to add some features that will allow us to move the cannon around the grid. So we're gonna be basically doing 3D modeling on some of those arrows and then getting the model ready for preparation into our game. Once we go through this video, on the following video, I'll go through and actually start coding. So we're actually getting to C# and then work on some of the gestures that we'll need in order to move our cannon when we're using a mobile device. So let's actually jump into Unity and start working on it. Thank you. All right, guys, so here we are in Unity and I need to make some changes to the model that I worked on before. The other video I showed you how to actually model the cannon. I went ahead and made a couple little changes to the cannon, and the reason for that is because the base on the cannon was too wide and it didn't really fit well with the game design. So I haven't really touched these that much. I only changed the base and then made these a little bit wider, so that actually taller, so that actually it basically worked well in the game and it looked better. So what I want to do in this video is a couple of things. I created this model right here, which is basically just a torus with a lower basically a lower resolution. So what I want to do, I want to use that torus to place arrows, because we're going to be able to rotate this from left to right, but I want to allow the player to, to touch arrows on this base and in order to rotate it. The same thing with the cannon. I'm going to have arrows up and down that is going to allow people to basically point the cannon up and down. And there'll be arrows, or actually this same shape will be placed on the bottom to be able to move the entire model through the grid. So what I'm going to do before we start in Maya, I'm going to switch back to Unity, and I want to create a demo, basically a demo prop scenes, which I already have. But in this, I'm going to create another environment. So this is the environment that I've been posting about, and this is the one that I use basically to change the colors on some of the props and also the trees. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to duplicate the environment, and this is gonna be props, and then this one is gonna be for, let's say this will be for heavy machinery, and I'm gonna disable the first one. In this one, I don't really want to have all these components in here, all these models, so I'm gonna get rid of the garbage, also these guys, the construction cones, that other garbage, and we don't need, we can let's get rid of the trees as well. We're actually gonna just keep just the base, and some of the rocks we can get rid of. Okay, perfect. So what I'm gonna do here is I'm gonna bring in the model that I did for the crane. The reason why I'm doing this is because I want to make sure that all my models are consistent, so they look all similarly. And when people look at it, they're like, okay, that's from the same game. We can get rid of that tree, and also the branches. Let's make sure. Okay, we can get rid of that. Perfect. And we don't need that. The point light, we can get rid of the point light. It's a little distracting. Okay, and then if I go to my game view, perfect. Let's actually rotate it a little bit. Okay. That's perfect. Well, you can put it right over there. We go to my main view. Awesome, that looks great. So now if I go in and pull the new model that I created and go to FBX, and actually, let's see. Okay, perfect. So let's go to prefabs and pull in my cannon. So if you notice, I changed some of the colors on the cannon as well. The reason for that is because I wanted to match the crane. The other thing, the crane was actually created using another tool for the 3D. So I want to use Maya, and that's why I'm not going to be using the arrows that you see on this. So this was created actually with Pro Builder. So with Maya, I don't want to use some of the basically the 3D models that we did on this one. It just seems like it's very clunky. That was our first iteration. So what I'm gonna do is I want to change the colors in Maya, because I actually make the changes in Unity. So I'm gonna go back to Maya, and let's actually match the colors I already have in Unity. So I'm gonna go to my rotator, open up the hypershade, and I'm gonna go and play a little bit with the hypershade. I also think we're gonna be changing some of the names, because I don't want these to have the word gray in the name, because I might change it later. So if I go into here, let's see, Canon base gray. So that's for my base, which is now gray. And let's go, this one is the Canon base light gray. And I don't think I gave him very good name. So I'm gonna rename all of this. So this is gonna be our Canon rotator, and which is that rotator. And if we go back to, it was kind of a yellowish color. We can tweak it, but for now I'll just assign it a little bit of a yellow so that we know. And then for the base, I believe, let's go back into Unity. So the base was basically a black, and this was a little bit of a lighter color. So we can do base, and then the Canon can have a lighter black. Let's go back into Maya, and this one, it's gonna be our Canon cylinder. And then in Maya you can't really have two objects of the same name. So we can say, instead of calling that Canon cylinder, let me come up with a better name. So this is gonna be Canon main. And let's not use the word Canon so that I can use it in part of the materials. Let's see, so this will be main, this will be my ball, this will be the base, which looks like I actually applied the wrong color to that, and then this will be the rotator. Okay, so let's actually move base down a bit so that we know. And then my rotator, my iron ball, that actually can be down, and then main. Okay, let's go back to the hypershade, and I'm going to rename this one. This is going to be main Canon. This one is going to be the Canon rotator, and looks like I already have another one. That's fine. This one is going to be Canon base, and this one is going to be our iron ball, Canon iron ball. So now the name should be fine. We can go back to this one. Okay, so on the main Canon, which is actually the part that shoots the iron ball, that one we want it to be a little bit dark. So we'll just make it right about there. And then the rotator, that's the one that I want it to be yellow. And then the base, we're gonna keep that as dark as we can. For now, we'll tweak it in Unity. And then the iron ball, it's gonna be kind of a darker gray. Perfect. Now we can go back into here, and it looks like it's actually looking better. So this one, I think it's too dark. Let's go material attributes, and we will change it. Let's actually go in, and there we go. And we can actually make it a little bit. Okay, perfect. The arrows, I want the arrows to be white, so let's do and create. That will be the up and down arrow. So, and they're all gonna be the same color. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna create a new material. This one is gonna be arrows, Canon arrows, and that's gonna be completely white. So we can go down. Excellent. And we can assign it. And Canon arrow. So white arrow. I'm gonna actually go into every piece just to make sure that we have the Canon iron ball, the materials associated correctly. Then here's my base. I'm gonna go assign existing material, Canon base, And then the rotator, I believe, is okay, but let's just do it one more time. And then my cannon base. And it looks like thought this was gonna be a little bit darker. Let me go back into material attributes. I actually want those two. Looks like I have both of them set to the same thing. Let's see, so this one is gonna be my cannon. Okay. Main cannon. Let me actually go back into the hypershade. I name them. Okay, so this one, cannon main. We want to use the same naming convention. Okay, perfect. So now this one is, I'm actually going to make this one darker and the other one lighter. So basically flip them. So let's go material attributes, and I want that one to be about there. And material attributes there. And you guys might notice that I'm not a professional with Maya, so I'm learning. So I had some suggestions in the other videos about how to improve the way that I'm doing things, so feel free to to let me know. I'm always happy to learn. Okay, so I think I'm happy with the way that this looks. It's perfect. Then I'm gonna go into, let's go into Unity. I want to make sure that my prefab, and I'm using the latest version of Unity. Some people ask me why I had nested prefabs, and that's because I'm using 2018 3.0. Okay, so I'm gonna go into my cannon, and just want to check a few things, just make sure that, because all the names are gonna change. I'm actually gonna recreate this one, and I think everything else looks fine. Okay, so I'm gonna delete that cannon. I'm going to delete everything that I did for the cannon before. I want to start from scratch and clean it up. Then so that was the prefabs on the models. I'm going to do the exact same thing. So I think I got everything there that I needed. And I'm also going to remove all the materials that I set up previously. So many of you probably done this, and you have to go through something multiple times in order to do it just right. So this is an example of that, where I have to do it multiple times. And let's see, there was one person that asked me a question about, actually they suggested me to, every time that I do freeze transformation, so if I do freeze transformation on that, then I also needed to clear the history. So I think they told me that I needed to do, let's see, match transformation, freeze transformations. Okay, I'll look that up later. I think it was under, let's see, let's pull up Google really quick and bring it down. And I want to thank them for suggesting me to do this, because I think if I don't do this, it's actually gonna cause problems later on. Okay, so it looks like you go to edit and then delete by type and then history, which a lot of you probably already knew. So I'm actually gonna rename this one, and this is gonna be just let's see, these ones are gonna go on the bottom. So we'll delete the history later once we're done with this process. And I think I want to make this a little bit bigger. Okay, excellent. And I'm going to be placing my arrows, something like that. That works. Make sure that they are aligned. Okay, and that's actually how you're gonna be moving these through the grid, is by holding onto those shapes. So that works. And then I think, okay, so perfect. And then I'll do the same thing with, so let's rotate it on, say -90, basically to place it on the side. And right about there. Let's actually go into the side view here, and I think that looks right. perfect. And then we'll rotate it. Okay, and then I'm gonna duplicate it one more time. Place one on the other side. Okay, awesome. So it looks good. I believe we need one on each side. Let me go back to the other one just to make sure. On this one we have one. That's fine. We only need ones on the sides because we're gonna use the one on the back to bring it back and forth. I don't know that we need one on the inner side. Oh, actually there's one there. We just couldn't see it. It's just too dark. So if we turn light off, we can now see it. Okay, perfect. So we need one on each side. And let me duplicate that one again. And we'll just put it right about there. That looks perfect. So let me see. Let me go into, okay, that one we can take out just a tiny bit. And then this one, I'm happy with that. And then the side X, I'm also happy with that as well. Okay, perfect. Now what I'm gonna do is we need some for rotating, actually, yeah, rotating this part. So, but that one doesn't really look like an arrow. So I want an arrow pointing left and an arrow pointing right. And I'm gonna add one here, and then one here. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna duplicate this. And before I keep going, let's actually just rename this. This is gonna be arrow, and then, so this is in the base, so we can just call it arrow base. We can just say back. This is gonna be arrow left base. The one on the right is gonna be arrow right base. And then the one up front, we can just call it arrow from base. Okay, perfect. We can grab all of those and then go into my, let's see, modify, freeze transformations. And now we can go and try the delete history. Perfect, so that's clean as it can be. It's actually delete history on every single one of these. So modify, sorry, edit, delete by type history. So everything should be as clean as we can. Oh, and we need to freeze transformations on the other ones too. So want to make sure that everything has 0 and there's no history. Okay, perfect. Okay, now let's create the arrows for this piece. I want arrows from left to right, like I was saying. So I could duplicate this one and then adjust it, but what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna bring in and create a polygon torus and actually modify it a little bit. So I'm gonna increment it and I'm going to rotate it. See, rotate it 90 degrees. Going to actually align it with this other one so we know about what size we need. Something like that. That works. And then let's go to the inputs and I'm gonna bring down the subdivision. Perfect. And we can do the same thing with the height. And right about there. Awesome, but I don't want the sides to basically come out. I want it to be flat. So I'm gonna go to vertex and I'm gonna select both of the, let's see, the 3 outer vertices and also the ones that are in the outside, on the other side. Okay, and let's actually go into our side mode here. So I'm looking at right about there. Excellent. And let's see, and also the ones inside I want to bring in. So if we go into the Z view, I'm actually going to bring them all in. And let's see, let's look and see how that looks. Okay, so I'm going to bring this one up. And let's actually go into full mode. So what we can do is actually snap it. I think the snap worked. Yeah, that worked. And but didn't work quite because we don't want to snap it all the way in. Let's see. Okay, so I think I'm happy with that, and we can do the same thing with this one. Sometimes I just guess what I'm moving, so make sure that you don't do that. Okay, excellent. And let's see. I think the one on the bottom is a little bit off. Yeah, it is a little bit off. So you can kind of see how the lines, those two are aligning. This one we can align as well. And we can go back, and I'm happy with that. And go to object mode. And the only difference is like this one on the back is a little bit thicker. Let's actually fix that by going into the front. So I'm gonna select the vertices, all of those. I think we can just zoom in. There we go. Scale just a tiny bit. No zoom in. Okay, I'm happy, except we're getting a little bit of an angle. This one. Okay, let's go. Select all the outside vertices. Go into, and that's why. Okay, and we'll do the same thing with the ones on the other side. So this time I just want to be very precise. And right about there. Awesome. Okay, perfect. And then the next thing that I'm going to do is just go to object mode and then select the color. So we're going to select our arrows, Canon arrows, and that's perfect. That's what I needed. So I'm going to go into modify, freeze transformations, and then edit. We don't need the history either, so that's a clean object. Okay, so then the next thing is trying to find out when this one got created. Let's delete that. Let's go back into our torus. Okay, and actually let's put him in place. And we can go into our Z mode. Okay, right about there. That's our side, and this is our top. Perfect. Okay. I think let's bring it back a tiny bit. Okay, now let's actually duplicate it. And this time around, instead of, well, we can actually rotate it. I was gonna scale it, but rotating works. So let's do 180 so that we can rotate it to the other side. And this is looking great. Okay. Yeah, it's looking really good. Let's actually bring it in. And you know, anything that you do as an indie game developer really takes a lot of work and a lot of detail. So that's why I'm going back and forth and trying to fix some of these, because I know that when I bring it into Unity, it's not gonna be, you know, perfect. So let's actually rotate. Let's go back and rotate this one, and I need to rotate that -90. And this one is gonna be +90. Or actually, there we go, 90 degrees. And I'm gonna put them in place. This one we gotta bring back a little bit. This one gotta bring in. Okay, excellent. And I'm noticing that they might be a little too big. We'll find out. That's actually perfect. Okay, so we got arrows on the back, arrows on the side. Now we need arrows on the other side. So we'll just duplicate those. And then bring them in. And I'm happy. Let's see, let's just bring these two in just a bit. That works. Awesome. So now let's actually go in and name everything. So we're just gonna say these are the arrow rotator, and we're gonna say back left, And this one is gonna be arrow rotator back right. It's very important that we name things correctly, otherwise it's gonna get really messy and hard to work. So we're just gonna say arrow rotator left side left, and we'll just do paste that, and left side right. We'll copy that name and we'll just say right side right, and well, I guess that will be my left, so this is actually left depending on which angle you're looking at, and right side right. Perfect. Okay, so the other thing that I want to do, okay, so that works. The other thing that I want to do is I want arrows for moving this up and down, because I want people to be able to shoot up and then basically shoot down. So let me undo those changes, and let's actually go and select everything one more time, freeze transformations, and then I probably didn't need to do every single one of them, but it's always a good habit. So everything is clean. Okay, awesome. So the other thing that I was gonna do is the up and down arrow. So I'm gonna duplicate this arrow and I'm gonna rotate it, say -45? No, -90. So you wanna do a completely circle. Let's see, so let's actually go up and then go inside. So these ones, I don't really want to attach them to anything, so they're gonna be on the air. And we're gonna see how that works in Unity, like if it's gonna be intuitive, it's not gonna be intuitive. But that's one of those things that, you know, it doesn't hurt until we try it. Okay, so we can leave that one right there. Actually, let's move it up so we have a space for, because if you're using this on a mobile device and you have to touch and they're too close to each other, we might not have an intuitive game. So let's actually rotate these down. So -1, -180, 190. Let's see. Right about there. So -270. That, okay, that works. And then bring it up a tiny bit. I'm wondering if I need to have these on a little bit of an angle so that from far, oops, not that far, you can kind of see where I'm going with that. Let's actually make it, let's give it a little bit of an angle, and then if we don't like it later, we can adjust it, and then we can just give this a little bit of an angle as well. Okay, I'm actually really happy with that. I like how that looks. And we can bring it in a tiny bit. This one is actually, okay. And let's actually go further. Okay, I'm actually, yeah, really, that's looking really cool. Okay, so I'm going to rename these. This is gonna be, so that's for our main. So arrow, we'll just call it arrow main up, and we can just say arrow main down. We'll select everything one more time, and then freeze, and then edit, delete by type, history. Okay, so that basically sums it up, and yeah, I'm happy with that. All right. Actually, let's see. Yeah, that's perfect. I think this is a great start. So this is basically the continuation of the modeling, the 3D modeling or Canon. Then on the next video, let's actually go in and readjust the prefab, and just how I did on the previous video where we modify the pivot points. I'm gonna have to do that one more time. And after that, once we have our prefab completed, we're gonna start doing some C# coding to actually be giving these cannons on live, where we're going to be shooting the cannon, and we're finally going to be able to use our iron ball. So that's everything for this video. Thank you guys.